Get all this shit out of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's a real fishbowl effect. Who am I? How did I get here? My, what a wonderful day it is outside. There's the definite weird guy factor. Global warming? No, I mean it's warm out, but it's summertime. It's supposed to be warm out. And if you really want to be cutting edge journalism, and I think a part of this is, it's all about exploration. You're on a journey, and you don't know if I'm full of shit or not. This is just Cody's trip. I was just throwing over something bigger for, because I think you should interview people that think this is all bullshit. Go interview some Republicans too, you know? Not that they're all full of shit, but say, you know, what do you think about, you know, solar design? What do you think about sustainability? It's a bunch of bullshit, you know, yada, yada, yada. The shit's hitting the fan, period. And especially here in America, we're all so self-reliant, you know, we forgot what the tribe was all about. I teach survival skills. You know, I'm hardwired for self-reliance. That's what I do. If I don't do what I teach, then what the hell am I? You know, I need to be living what I'm teaching, or it's what I would call a fraud. I've always had a passion for knowing how to do more with less, because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel more self-reliant. It's pretty obvious that society, in my mind, is just a bunch of dominoes lined up that are ready to go. Unfortunately, I think what might cause a lot of people to shift is pain. In the instance of inflated goods, or like you say, gas being, you know, $6 a gallon or whatever that is. Unfortunately, especially in America, what I see is there's no real move to conserve unless we're almost already out of whatever it is we're trying to conserve at that point. We don't conserve until we're down to the last roll of toilet paper. And I think it's this mindset, I believe it revolves around lack of gratitude. But then it gets beyond that, and you know, the greed pops in, or whatever it is. I'm not going to psychoanalyze. And that's the classic non-Cherokee 7 generations looking to the future. We don't even look, you know, beyond next Tuesday. And I think that's a huge mistake. I'm so far hooked into technology that we've kind of pulled the plug on common sense. Whether I'm an example or not, that's really irrelevant to me. I just want to do what makes sense, and I want to pay attention to what Mother Nature doles out. Because ultimately she's the boss, and we can contort and whine and complain and pretend like, you know, I'll turn this switch and block her out. But when the end of the day comes, the more I can live in tune with the natural cycles of the planet, and it's just common sense, it's not grooviness. But unfortunately, to sum it up, I think a lot of people refuse to change or don't have any interest in any sort of conservation until the shit's hitting the fan, period. As far as the whole global system crumbling, what you can do that dovetails nicely with self-sufficiency is make less of a footprint. You know, and if you do decide to build a home, and building a home is not necessarily less of a footprint, but maybe you could remodel or build a smaller home that's passive solar. So in the long run, you're using less resources on the planet. Paying attention to nature as best you can, and then party on. You know, don't stress over it, because life's a drag when I stress over impending doom or lack of resources or whatever it is. It makes the current living a bummer. Party on, dude. Don't stress on it. Everything's gonna be okay.
You know, there's a lot to be happy and joyful for, but it's also sad, all the destruction that we're having and more. What are we gonna do when we can't buy food at the store? What are we gonna do when you can't close your door to reality stepping in? How are you gonna live? What are you gonna take and what are you gonna give? How are you gonna live? Where are you gonna eat? Where are you gonna go when your bread does not come from 1,500 miles away? What are you gonna do when you got nothing left to say?
I'm doing what makes me happy,
Right.
because I'm not really happy with the global scheme about what's going on.
Right.
And instead of being angry about that, I chose to be proactive and do something about that was tangible. Remember, the more you know, the less you need. So pay attention to nature, don't do more than you have to, and follow your heart.